We begin with this Fox News alert. The new Congress gaveling in at any moment now. It is straight up noon, and that means because they do not have a Speaker of the House yet.
Look, you haven't taken your Christmas decorations down yet, so stop with this whole what's the new Congress gonna do.
Everybody goes back to Congressman-elect or Congresswoman-elect. We will be watching very closely.
We will be watching
this hour if Republicans are going to retain power or let Nancy Pelosi pick in a fill-in clerk until they can figure out who the...
By the way, Nancy Pelosi picked a fill-in clerk. It's the first black woman ever to hold the gavel and run the Congress. She's in charge of it today, and she made history. Yeah. Congrats, Cheryl.
Speaker will be. The opening session will kick off 2 years of an intense battle.
2 years of an intense battle, not 2 years of an intense... The word two. Did they put the number in? Is somebody using Prince lettering?
Over everything from immigration policy to inflation.
No, not immigration policy. Just like rambling, screaming about the border. That's not policy.
But before it all happens, as I said, Republicans will first have to elect a new speaker. Kevin McCarthy is having big problems with his bid for the position. Minutes ago, he said he won't drop out. And even though the House could go to a second vote for the first time in 100 years, wow. On the Senate side, Mitch McConnell is poised to make history, but for a very different reason. Hello, this is Outnumbered.
Hello. Hi. You got to ease into the title of the show better than that. I mean, or they got to throw up a title card or something. That's just creepy.
Happy New Year. I'm Harris Faulkner here with my co-host Emily Campagno. Also joining us today, Kennedy, Dr. Jeanette
Kennedy, who used to be on MTV. Yeah. And I thought the worst thing that happened to MTV was that they went to reality shows.
Nashwat and Bill Hemmer is
oh, no.
rocking today. Watch out. Okay. At least 14 members of Kevin McCarthy's own political party say they have doubts.
By the way, that's her. She's gaveling it. That whole Harris Faulkner going, I wonder if somebody will have to do... Yeah. That... It already happened.
Doubts for whether or not they're going to support him for Speaker. 5 of those are firm no's at this point. And with the GOP holding just the slimmest of majorities already in the House, Kevin McCarthy can only afford to lose 4 votes. So he's already...
And spoiler alert, he lost 20 every time.
Upside down right now. If he can't marshal support, the House will have to vote again. A new candidate could emerge. He or she would not even have to be a member of Congress, so maybe a surprise.
Oh, yeah. Draft Trump. Make him do some work. It's fucking boring.
Candidate, we don't know. We'll cover it as it happens. But until the House elects a speaker, as I said, it will remain gridlocked. It can't even swear in members or conduct any legislative business. Kevin McCarthy still refuses.
Yeah, again, I'm kind of good. I mean, there's a backlog of bills that just got passed. We're not expecting them to vote for anything good. So, honestly, the gridlock just kind of, unless there's like an emergency, like storm relief or something that would happen that they needed to vote on quickly, which I feel like they still would somehow. Like, I bet there's a workaround. The same thing you do if you had a speaker and that person got run over by a horse-drawn carriage.
To give up on his bid for Speaker.
Are you going to stay in the race, Leader McCarthy? You're not dropping off.
I'm not going anywhere. We did have an intense conference. There's times we're going to have to argue with our own members if they're looking at
He was screaming at his own penis in the bathroom is what he's saying. That's... What are you doing? I'm arguing with my own member. Why? I know. Well, Marge walked by. Nothing works when that happens. It's like the devil passing his hand over a flower bed.
Or only positions for themselves, not for the country. I will always fight to put the American people first.
By the way, we'll see.
Not a few individuals that want something for themselves. So we may have a battle on the floor, but the battle is for the conference and the country, and that's fine with me.
So
By the way, they cut out the part where he name-checked Matt Gaetz particularly, and the battle is the assumption is, and this is that part of the issue going forward, is that as big of these, the Freedom Caucus, they're a bunch of assholes. But in their minds, they think they're fighting for America, the American people, that kind of thing. That's why they think they're dug in. The way you set people up where you can kind of, I guess, sweep the knee is that you establish that we're all for something like working for the American people, and this group is fighting against the will of the American people, in general, to get their own needs met. You have to distinguish between the two. If you have to talk about your own party as in one fell swoop as a large group, without being able to excise that group from the conversation in some way, then you're just arguing that they're fighting for their version of the truth, and it's just alternative facts.
Co-host, I have missed you.
I have missed you.
What in the world? Are we looking at a situation where we'll have more than one vote to get
Turns out, yes.
a speaker, do you think?
Potentially, and I think what's interesting is that bird's eye view looking into this, which is essentially saying what is best for the party and therefore what is best for the country is...
Yeah, it's the same thing. What is best for the Republican Party is best for America. And obviously, we had to gerrymander 2 states to get in power, and without that, we would have been out of power again. And obviously, the Senate grew in Democratic hands, and the president has passed somewhere in the order of 65% of his legislative priorities in less than 8 months this year. But the important thing is that wide open border, I think,
is more of a cohesiveness than we're seeing right here. There are a lot of warning signals and alarms being sent.
Warning signs and alarms going off.
Say you actually are not advancing the goals of the party by trying to sabotage, their words, not mine, what's going on right now with McCarthy. So, for example, the New York Post editorial board, they wrote a scathing rebuke of the Freedom
Oh my God, they were scathing.
Caucus this morning, and they said, what is your plan right now? There's 5 of
What
you.
is your
And instead
plan?
of saying,
5
okay,
of
we've
you.
been denied
What?
power
Hey,
for these
it's-
last few years. Finally,
Yeah,
we have it. Let's get to
finally.
work.
And
Let's
what
put
are you
aside
doing?
our
Right.
1, 2, 3
That's-
requests
yes.
and instead
Just
ensure
stop
McCarthy's
it.
in that leadership
I
position so that we
know.
can start
We're just
assembling
gonna- it's not
legislation
gonna
so that we
happen
can
if
start
we
these
don't all work
investigations.
together.
They
Now,
say,
I don't
let's have a little
understand it.
bit more breathing
Look,
room for the party because
can
that
we
is
just
what
order
advances
some
the ball
mimosas
so
and
much
shut the
further.
fuck
So I think
up?
what's
I'm
interesting
tired
is
of
that
you.
outside chatter, I understand.
Honest to God.
The stalking horse being put into play and fine, but I think we don't yet have that position where we have the luxury to fight over this minutia.
That's a really good point.
The
Yeah, it's so true. It's so true. We have a hair's breadth majority, and it's only there because of gerrymandering. And so I don't even know that we have the power to even ask for anything, much less demand. Will that stop us? Of course not.
the shield is more important right now than those
Oh, you think I hold on one second. I'm getting a request. Apparently I don't look the part for this whole
yard
discussion.
by yard advancements.
Power is a privilege, it's a luxury, but you got to have it first. I mean, can you imagine what
Oh my God, you don't have to tell me. Can you imagine? Oh Lord. See? This is what I'm talking about. Seriously.
happens if Nancy Pelosi
What?
has to appoint a Democratic clerk while they work
my
this out?
God. She already did. They showed her. Stupid. I mean, I don't want to even.
Margins
Ugh.
matter, Harris. And if you go
Yeah, they do.
back to the midterms,
Who's this hunk of me to hunka?
we had Republicans in some cases winning as many as 246 seats.
What?
Had they done that, this would not even be an issue today.
Right. That's what I'm saying. There's if there'd been a red wave, which there wasn't, thanks for bringing it up, Killjoy, we wouldn't have this goddamn
They
problem.
actually underperformed at the lowest margin within our own
Just like Bill. I'm sorry. I'm talking out of school.
power rankings.
Now, Joe Biden says
they hit the number.
It's because of him. Do you think that?
Because
Well, of course not. He's on Fox News. He's not going to think that. They don't let him think that, okay?
of Joe
Because
Biden.
Literally has a brain on one of those gimp leashes.
of his policies. He takes credit for
He
how
does.
Republicans didn't
Look,
have a
does.
red wave.
If I were
How
Joe
does-
Biden,
oh my God.
I'd do the same thing.
Yeah.
However, in this
Yeah, well, and aren't you today kind of Joe Biden amongst all these ladies? Sniff their hair. Give him a sniff.
case for Kevin McCarthy,
Uh-huh.
it doesn't appear right now that he has the votes.
Nope, he does not.
Just this
I don't
morning,
think so. I'm just psychic right now. I'm feeling psychic right now. And I'm going to go with, he's not going to make it. He's not going to make it. It's going to take at least 9, 15, carry the 2, probably 20 votes.
If you saw Scott Perry, a Republican from Pennsylvania, he was on Fox and Friends.
He's no Steve Perry, I'll tell you that.
And he just lit it up.
So now I come to you with open arms, hoping to see what your love means to me. Open arms. That's Steve Perry. It's not Scott Perry. Scott Perry.
By the way, he's not one of those 5 that were in question.
Right. He's one
part
of the 4.
No, it's worse.
Different basket. Now,
Right.
That's right. There's 2 baskets of deplorables. We used to just have one, and then somebody shit in the basket. Now people, they don't want to share a basket with that person anymore. I'm not here to name Bobert names.
McCarthy has done over the weekend is try to cut some deals with these lawmakers.
And he's read The Art of the Deal. He's got a well-leafed, thumbed-out copy of Art of the Deal. He's been going at chapter and verse, like the Bible, but better.
But it seems that even those concessions that he's offered have not been enough to persuade.
No, they are not. They're not. He gives and he gives and he gives, and all they do is take.
Well, no, because, I mean, they realize they can get more.
That's right. You give them an inch, look what happens. They go, oh, that's all you got, an inch?
And they're up against the wall. So when
you're up against the wall and there's only an inch, and never mind.
When you talk about you're only going to need 5 votes to take a speaker out.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So that's
crazy. That's nuts. There's enough people on this panel to remove the speaker. Is that crazy? That's
history
crazy.
right there. Kevin McCarthy has capitulated on that point for the far left or far right, excuse me.
Whoops. Well, excuse me. Shida Freudian slip.
Me and his party. And now they want more. Well, of course they do.
Yes, but what they also want is...
Yes, tell us what they want, what they really, really want.
They want the potential speaker to acknowledge that the status quo is not enough. And
oh, you mean say what he always says in all speeches?
that's what voters said. You know, it was supposed to be a red wave, supposed to be a red tsunami.
Yeah, it wasn't. So I guess they were, a lot more okay with the status quo than they said. They were like, status quo, as opposed to, status quo.
It wasn't. And Joe Biden is over here, the house is on fire, and he's lighting a cigar, congratulating himself.
Of course.
And the country is on a pathway to hell.
Excuse me. Donald Trump says we're already in hell, and we're a country in decline in hell. So, obviously, there's worse than hell.
And a vast majority...
Hal, you would rock a feather boa. I know.
But he got what he wanted.
Acknowledge that.
Oh, he got what he wanted. Yeah. FaceTime with Mitch McConnell.
He got what he wanted because every voter hates everyone in Congress. They hate everyone in power.
Yeah, that's right. That's why we all got up and voted for the people that we wanted in office, because we hate everyone. That's what that's how I voted. How about this person? It was the simplest vote of my life. I was just like, name.
And I think some of these people, the minority of Republicans, are saying the status quo is not enough. We have to do something different.
Yeah, we got to do something different, like not democracy. Something else.
Different. It can't just be whatever we've done before, because that has...
Yeah, because America has sucked for like 240 some odd years. And we got to do something about it. America's in last place. We have the smallest economy, the smallest military. Nobody wants to move here. And it's not, do you see any foreigners trying to come and go to our universities? No, because they suck. You can't walk down the street without getting shot unless you want to.
As it worked, remember, Kevin...
And then you're like, could this suck more?
McCarthy could have been speaker before, and he withdrew before the vote. So...
Yeah, because he didn't have the votes then either.
Well, I think he's already damaged goods to a lot of people in the party.
Where'd you get that idea?
They want the Republican Party to stand for the American people and to stand for something different than what they've already been doing.
You know what?
Democracy, mainly democracy.
You put the argument much like Bob Goodman, Republican out of Virginia, congressman. Good.
Yeah.
Did I not say right?
No.
Yeah, he's not a good man. It's just Bob Good. It's like think of it as the word good as a trademark. It doesn't have to be true. He's not a good man.
That's right.
So to me, it is about
The weird thing is when Bob Good comes in, people go, great.
having an argument that there can be more, having a difference, having all that. And isn't that kind of what the left did with Nancy Pelosi when Tim Ryan ran against her?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, except for one thing. She was speaker in one ballot. I mean, it's minor.
I mean,
throwing that out there.
so
But he ran as a moderate, and they're not running from the middle of the party.
They're not.
They're running
They're
to
not running.
make the country better,
They
to
are.
make government smaller,
Right,
which
smaller.
is heresy in Washington.
Smaller and better. They're running to make it smaller. So small that one person in the caucus can stop it entirely from doing anything. That's small government. Basically, it might sound like a hostage situation to you, but it's not. It's just super small government.
I know that a doctor probably can't fix it, but this one maybe. Jeanette.
We can try, but the chaos, the uncertainty,
chaos.
it's
I know,
definitely
it's
unsettling. But at the
Chaos,
end of the
it
day,
is
what do
upsetting.
Americans want?
What do they
We
want?
want to see our leaders, the Republican Party, we want to see them unify. We want to see them come together.
That's why people like Matt Gaetz and Lauren Boebert and MTG and Donald Trump got elected, so that they can fight with the fucking rhinos, and then unify.
And fight for the rights and the needs of their
Of everybody but the rhinos. Fuckers.
constituents. And what is that? The gas prices, crime, the cost of living, inflation. And
They're all the same thing.
instead, what we're seeing is these 5 holdouts, these
20. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. 20, but go ahead.
stubborn Republicans
Stubborn. That's the worst.
who, don't look at the big picture and what's best for.
They don't look at the big picture, do they? By the way, I don't want to interrupt right now, but Kennedy was just arguing that those people are arguing for the big picture and want to change the status quo because they think that's what Americans in general want. That just because there was no red wave, we should just act as if there was one. So, I mean, I know you're a doctor and I don't know why I should even bring it up, but you're actually contradicting her without even acknowledging that you're shitting on what she's saying. So, I'm just saying it's a little passive aggressive. It's a little passive aggressive.
For not only their party, but for Americans and for their constituents. I mean, look,
Right.
nobody's
Yeah. So their party, Americans, and their constituents, mainly the KGB and the GRU.
perfect, but look what McCarthy has done. Both in 2020 and 2022, he gained seats for the House. He's
Well, the gerrymandering did that, but it's okay.
unveiled his commitment to America.
He unveiled it? Oh my God! Why didn't you tell me? He unveiled it. It was a great unveiling. He unveiled the commitment to America. Anybody know what's in it? Now that the veil has been removed? No? Me neither. But it's great, and I'm for it.
He's given concessions. I believe also the motion to vacate as well. But, nobody's
Yes. And that's nuts. It's nuts. It's crazy nuts. It's cuckoo nuts. I don't know why. So let me get this straight. He was saying earlier today that he doesn't want 90% of the caucus to be held hostage by 10% of the caucus, and then he's going to give 0.5% of the caucus the ability to shut down the entire Congress. What?
perfect, but we got to look at the big picture and not
We do. Kennedy.
hold out on what the Republicans need to.
Yeah, don't hold out, put out. That's the new... So wait. No wonder MTG is for McCarthy. That's right. She's running on a don't hold out, put out platform. It's genius.
Start their investigations on Afghanistan.
Wait, Afghanistan? Are we still in? We're not still in Afghanistan, are we? We're not? We've been out for almost 2 years? Oh, that's great. That's good. After how long? 20, almost 21 years? And we're out? Oh, good. That's nice. I didn't know, yeah.
Investigations on the origins of COVID.
right? Okay, get that, you know, thinking to the future.
The FBI files, the Twitter files, there's so much work that needs to be done. And even they can't.
The FBI Files is a fabulous show, by the way. It's a little dated, a little 90s, but I don't know why. It holds my attention. I mean, you can, granted, the opening credits look like they were made on a Media 100 system on an Amiga, but so it's got that, it's old school.
Get sworn in. My brother-in-law, Mike Waltz, is supposed to get sworn in today.
Yeah, he's not, because he's standing there with his thumb up his ass like an asshole because of...
I can't even congratulate him.
Yeah, don't. Whatever. It's not he's... Because if you do, it'll make him sad. If you congratulate him, he's going to go, yeah, I finally become a congressperson, and look who I'm with.
Well, you can. He's just a congressman-elect again, as of 8.5 minutes ago.
That's
quickly,
true.
Before we move forward on this...
By the way, we never moved forward. This is from yesterday.
This vote today, when they take this vote, and however...
And the one after it, and the one after that, 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 and then the one after that. Okay, continue.
Where this shakes out, if we get to a second vote, is that better or worse?
I'm gonna go with worse.
Yeah, not sure.
Yeah, worse.
Because we haven't been there in 100 years.
It's worse. It's always worse. It's worse. Not getting it the first time around would be good, even if you don't give it. Having to try again is worse. It's certainly not better.
Newt Gingrich over the weekend was talking about Kevin McCarthy or chaos. Can you imagine if McCarthy even gets the job, or ever gets the job? It appears as
it's going to be chaos anyways. I think he's onto something. See that, ladies? He's not just a bag of muscles. He's not even a bag of muscles, but you know what I mean.
if this is a majority in the House that's going to be full of surprises at every turn.
Yes, every turn. It's going to be a shock treatment. Just
and if you're talking about making the country better, Perry this morning was talking about a vote on a balanced budget, vote on the Texas border plan, a vote on term limits, a vote on
the Texas border plan. You want where Texas can secede if they want to? I'm on the fence about that one. An electrified one, mostly surrounding the state. And, of course, cutting off their energy right away. Also, I'm just going to tell them they should probably all learn to speak Spanish.
on individual earmarks, et cetera, et cetera. I think a lot of Republicans agree with all those principles.
It's true.
Why they couldn't get a deal it defies me at the moment.
Congressman
I know. It's because they're fucking maniacs.
Walsh, who I did not know was your brother-in-law, told me...
Yeah, but you thought Bob Good's name was Bob Goodman, so...
just last hour that the first thing they want to get done is to wipe away that $1 billion for those 87,000 IRS agents, which was part of the faux Inflation Reduction Act. So there is some immediacy where you could find agreement. It's amazing that maybe that won't happen, or maybe it will today.
Absolutely.
It didn't. That's okay.
Especially with the omnibus, didn't give much resources specifically to the Border Patrol.
Yes, it did. It raised the budget for the DHS and the Customs and Border Patrol, I think 4% across the board, and then gave them extra payments, and then included more money for processing so that it didn't have to come out of the DHS or Customs and Border Patrol. You know what? I'm not helping. I'm sorry, Carol. Please.
Agents rather than processing.
Yep. All right, we'll move on. You can see we're kind of fired up about this sort of thing.
Yeah, sort of thing. It's kind of, I can see it. You're fired up. I'm fired. We all said things were out of anger.
Hey, everyone.
That's horrifying. That was the premonition side of things.